and welcome to the finale of the British Touring Car 2025 season. We are doing the race review of the Brands Hatch finale. With me is my good friend Ben. Say hello.
Hello.
And like we said, we're covering the finale for the 2025 season. So as the curtain was brought down, there was plenty of awards and championships up for grabs. Many different title fights were underway. Obviously, the main one was the drivers. And if being completely honest, it looked like Ash Sutton needed a miracle if he was to take the title away from Tom Ingram. But we'll get into that in a minute. First and foremost, if you want to watch any of the past race reviews that we've done in the past over on the channel, we do have playlists for those. Obviously, you can find the 2025 season review, season playlist in the comment section down below. And obviously we'll have a season review up within a matter of weeks to cover the season in a bit better detail and give our thoughts to it. But jumping into qualifying, we saw eliminations of Proctor, Lloyd, Doble, Halstead and Hamilton to get knocked out in Group 1. Group 2 saw eliminations of Smiley, Patterson, Osborne, Buxton and Cook. In Part 2 we saw Ingram, Rainford, Shedden, Taylor Smith, Sutton and Moffat go from the pack. When we got the Fast 6 shootout underway, it was Darryl De Leon who took his second BTCC pole in a row and just eked out Camish and Rowbottom. After this, Tom Ingram won the Goodyear Wingfoot Award for the season due to his qualifying performances across the year. So your pole time for Darryl De Leon was 1 minute 28.930, Camish being 23 thousandths of a second behind, with Rowbottom being 33 thousandths of a second behind in third. So, when we get to the first race, there was drama before it even began. De Leon pulled off with engine trouble, which meant it was a clear view for the Napa boys in second and third, which allowed them to lead the pack away in the lead. Great start by Chilton as he put Robo under pressure for second place. Ingram immediately getting stuck in against the pack with Sutton trying to do the same. Hill got a puncher which dropped him down the order to the back of the pack, which meant it was double disaster for WSR in the space of a lap or so. Great first lap by Lloyd, who was up to 7th from 15th place. Once Hill managed to rejoin on lap 2, he was nearly a lap down. Meanwhile, Ingram was passed by Rainford, which put him down to 6th place. Rowbottom went into battle against Chilton and Morgan, and in the end was forced wide, which dropped him down to 6th behind Ingram. Whilst this was going on, Rainford moved his way up to 3rd behind Chilton. Lap 4 saw Cook and Osborne both pass Doble and move their way up into 13th and 14th respectively. Lap 6 saw Aaron Taylor-Smith come under attack from Smiley for 10th place, with Smiley getting past him. Lap 8 saw Shedden get past Lloyd for 7th place into turn 1. When we got to the following lap, Cook managed to get past Proctor for 12th place, with Smiley then putting Sutton under pressure for 9th. Lap 11 saw Rainford and Morgan go into battle once again, however this time it was Morgan who came out on top and took 3rd place. Lap 12 saw Sutton come under threat from Smiley once again, and before long Sutton was passed by Smiley for 9th place. However, on the following lap we saw Smiley be repassed by Sutton, and behind that we saw Cook overtake Aaron Taylor-Smith for 11th place. Up at the front though, it was Camish who led from lights to flag and took the win ahead of Chilton and Morgan. Ingram managed to extend his lead during this race over Sutton, meaning he didn't need to do much more to get his hands on the title. So your race 1 results were as follows. Dan Camish was your race winner with Tom Chilton in 2nd and Adam Morgan in 3rd. Then we had Charles Rainford in 4th along with the fastest lap. Ingram was in 5th ahead of Rowbottom, Shedden, Lloyd, Sutton and Smiley to round out the top 10. Over to you for race 2, Ben.
Yeah, so for race 2, basically all you need to know for anything to happen is Ingram just has to finish ahead of Sutton and Ingram will become the champion. If not, then it will carry on to race 3. Simple. So, at the start, it was quite interesting because Chilton and Rainford really had a really good start and they just went straight past Camish. It seemed like he was just slightly behind on the time and he just setting off. Ingram was instantly up to 3rd at this point as well, and before he even hit the GP part of the course. And then not long later, I think realising what was going on with Ingram sort of going for it, Camish moved over to let Sutton past. On to lap 2. Ingram jumped past Rainford to get into 2nd at this point. He sort of knew it was the only way he's up, head for the top. And so he was straight in second, and then not long after, Sutton was on the boost. He just flew past Camish and was sort of going for it at this point. On to lap 3. Chilton moved to the side and let Ingram through, which is obviously going to happen. Team game, and Chilton's not daft at these things. Lap 4, Sutton finally gets past Rainford, and then Camish followed on through as well. Though not long after, Rainford got hit twice by Taylor Smith. He flew off the course into the gravel trap, and this brought out the safety car, as Rainford's car was really stuck in the wall, so there was no way of him getting it out of that. He got out of it safely, which was all good. Going on to lap 9, the safety car is in. Chilton defends to let Ingram just go for it and get a really good start, and it seemed this really gave him a lead. I think at the end of lap 9, Ingram nearly had a 2-second lead on Chilton, which was pretty good. Going on to lap 10, Taylor Smith is off into the barrier. I'd say that was karma for taking out Rainford, and this brought out the safety car as well. On to lap 11, Chilton's car just was grinding to a halt and stopped. He moved over to where basically it's the long lap penalty for the motorbikes, so then everybody else could pass him. It was basically just at the point where it was high enough where he could sort of get to one of the ways to get out of the circuit. He managed to get to the barrier by doing this once everybody had gone past, so he got his car safely off the track by himself, so it meant he didn't have to bring out more stuff to take him off while I was taking Taylor Smith off. On to lap 14, safety car was in. Sutton is behind Ingram, ready at this point. Camish defends everyone else to try and let Sutton have a good chance to chase down Ingram so nobody else could bother him. On to lap 15. Ingram has pretty much at this point a 2-second lead over Sutton at the start of the lap. We could just see the gap was very much clear. It was sort of like you knew that Ingram's car and the Hyundai was insanely hooked up, which is proven by on lap 16. Senna Proctor flew past Camish, and it seemed at this point he was sort of trying to get up to Ingram to basically help support him. So he was into third, but it seemed like he was going to try and get behind Sutton to maybe just cause him a few problems so he could go on to it. And yeah, on to the last lap. Shedden bounces past Camish, and at this point he did a really good overtake. It was interesting to see. Ingram crossed the line and locks up his tyres to celebrate at this point him becoming a championship because he crossed it in first, and it was really cool to see like him lock up the tyres, so the smoke that came off the car was awesome. So yeah, the top 10. First, and the new second-time champion Tom Ingram with fastest lap. He gained every point he could have out of this race. Second was Sutton. Fair play to him, he didn't give up this weekend. Third was Proctor. Fourth was Shedden. Fifth was Camish. Sixth was Robon. Seventh was Hill. Eighth was Cook. Ninth was Moffat. And 10th was Morgan. Over to you for race 3, Brad.
Thanks, Ben. So the finale saw Aidan Moffat be put on pole in his BMW for the final race this year. And as soon as the lights went out, we saw a great start by Jake Hill to jump into third ahead of Cook. Sutton was up to fourth place within a few corners, which was a great start for him on the option tyre. Cook went into battle against Hill and took him for second place. Then it was Sutton's turn, and before long, Hill was stuck in a Napa sandwich with Robo behind him. Lap 3 saw Morgan battle his way past Osborne for 10th place. Lap 4 saw a Napa nightmare as Camish and Robottom came to blows, with Camish being out on the spot. Up at the front, Cook managed to get past Moffat for the lead, and then the safety car came out, which sealed the lead for Cook. On the restart, we saw Sutton get past Moffat for second. Further back, there was drama as Rainford and De Leon came to blows, which meant it was an interesting time in the Jack Sears Trophy standings. Hill went wide at turn 4, which allowed Shedden to briefly pass him, but to no avail. Lap 9 saw Hill take on Moffat for the final podium place, with Shedden also waiting to pounce. Later in the lap, we saw Doble get overtaken by both within a matter of corners. On lap 10, we saw Aaron Taylor-Smith slow significantly due to car troubles. Over at the back of the field, we saw an interesting fight developing as Nick Hamilton, Max Buxton, Lloyd and Doble all got stuck into each other for position. But this was crucial because this was regarding the Independent Drivers' Championship. So it could have gone either way, really. Robo was dropping like a stone down the order, as by lap 11 he was down in 6th and coming under attack from Ingram. Lap 14 saw the fun begin as Lloyd tried to get past Doble, but behind we saw Buxton and Hamilton closing in quickly, which could turn things around in the Independent Championship if things went well for Doble. One lap later, Nick Hamilton took Buxton for 17th place and was closing on Doble and Lloyd. Lap 16 saw the Hyundais of Ingram and Morgan past Robo, which dropped him down to 8th place. Lap 17 saw the independent fight once again, with Hamilton getting past Lloyd for 16th, with Buxton also taking the Hyundai then towards the end of the lap. We saw Buxton get past Hamilton for 16th place. On the last lap, we saw Shedden finally get Moffat for 4th, but up at the front, it was Josh Cook who took his first win of the season and the final checker flag of the season by winning, with Sutton and Hill rounding out the podium. Dan Rowbottom originally finished in 8th, but was disqualified later on for causing a collision with Dan Camish earlier in the race, and the race 3 results looked like this. The race winner was Josh Cook, with Sutton in 2nd along with the fastest lap. Hill was 3rd, ahead of Shedden, Moffat, Ingram, Morgan, Proctor, Osborne and Patterson to round out the top 10. Now, in terms of the driver's standings, I think I don't need to tell you, as Ben's already mentioned, but Tom Ingram is your driver's champion 2025. Ash Sutton coming home some 34 points, I believe it is, in 2nd place, ahead of Dan Camish, Jake Hill. Not a bad drive, all things considered, with the BMW. Not the best car all year, but still a fine way to bow out, I'm sure. Ahead of Dan Rowbottom, Adam Morgan, Tom Chilton, Charles Rainford, who's 2 points ahead of Gordon Shedden in 9th, and Senna Prapton rounds out the top 10. So, Ben, who are your winners from the weekend? And I think I can already guess one of them.
Yeah, the easiest one to obviously go with is Tom Ingram. It's plain and simple. I don't really need to say much about that. The other one I'd say is Ash Sutton. He really didn't give up, and you can't ask for more than that. He knew it wasn't stacked against him, but he went with everything he could. It's not a track where his car usually suits, so I think he sort of knew that it was an uphill battle from the start. And then the other person, speaking of hills, I'm going to say Jake Hill, because it's last time, possibly, he might be in the BTCC, and it was nice to just see everything that he's gone and done, really, with the series, and to see what happens next. So I'd say they're my winners from the weekend.
Yeah, I could probably just say a massive congratulations to Tom Ingram for winning his 2nd title. And Jake Hill as well. It's been great to watch him in the BTCC over the last God knows how many years. But yeah, he's been a great spectacle of the sport. He will be missed, but obviously he's going on to different pastures, as we know. For me, my personal ones would probably be Morgan and Shedden, because I think they've had some strong weekends this year. And I know that Shedden's obviously won a race and everything, but I personally think that these guys have scored a massive chunk of points. They've been very good in the races, behind the likes of Sutton, Hill, and Ingram. I think Proctor maybe deserves a bit of a mention as well for getting where he is. And yeah, I think overall, maybe even the Hyundai as well, because Hyundai did actually win the manufacturers over Ford. I think it was only by 3 points or something like that. So yeah, it was one hell of a show for the end of the year. But yeah, I think with British touring cars over and done and dusted, 2025 season is wrapped up. We have our champion, a 2-time champion now for Ingram. But going into next year, Ben, with the news as well, we've not even mentioned that. With the news of Powermax Racing, they are bringing the Audi brand back into BTCC, which will be a great spectacle to see.
Yeah, that brings back my days of watching like Rob Austin and everything. It's sort of, I love the Audi brand because me starting watching when it was like the Plato versus Neil years and everything, there was always like that odd like privateer Audi what would sometimes appear and stuff, and it's just nice to see a different brand Like the Astra and Vauxhall was that different brand, which was so sad. But I'm pleased that the same team is going, nah, we're not going to bring in a car that's already here. Obviously, they've had to do what they've had to do for the second half of this year. They're on purpose going like, yeah, we're going to bring back Audi. So it's going to be great to see what they can do and see what happens with them. I hope they do the best, and I hope the car just looks awesome anyway.
Yeah, I think as well, it's like you've got Audi coming back next year as well, and I think Napa are obviously looking at getting rid of the Focus. They want to eke out the Focus and get another car. That's not just a case of because because Ash didn't win the championship. They've even said themselves they want to be getting a new car because the fact of the Focus is how many years old now? Is it like 6 or 7 years old or something?
Yeah, it's not a new car anymore. It's basically like the way the Astra was going.
So it'll be interesting to see how we get on next year. Obviously, there's the chance of like One Motorsport, Jason Plato's team, whatever team that's going to be, whatever car they're running, Audi back with Power Max Racer. There's a lot to look forward to in 2026. But for now, though, Tom Ingram can enjoy his time as a 2-time champion. Obviously, I'm sure that Sutton will be on his heels, and they weren't kidding. I think a few years ago when they were saying that it'll be Ingram and Sutton for the title. I think with Hill now leaving, that will very much echo that, unless someone like Camish or Rainford or maybe even the surprise Shedden, but like someone steps their game up to their level to take on the championship. So who knows what we're going to get next year from the touring car perspective. But on that note, we are going to wrap this one up here. I just want to quickly say thank you very much to everyone for watching this year and watching our race reviews, whether you've watched it for 5 minutes or the full thing all the way to the end. We really appreciate it, as well as any comments you guys have left us over the last year. But yeah, stick around. We will be doing a season review in a couple of weeks' time. Hopefully, we'll get that up to you in November. Won't put a date on it yet because it'll be out when it's done. But yeah, for now, Tom Ingram, sure, congratulations on winning your second title. And anything to add, Ben, before we go?
Look forward to the race review. We'll definitely have it out before Christmas, and like I say, we'll probably leave it a bit anyway, because I like to leave it a bit so then I have to go back through and remember everything. It's nice to sort of go, oh yeah, that happened. So yeah, look forward to seeing that from us, and that will be it for now.
Yeah, exactly. So on that note, like I said, we're going to end this here. Thank you very much for watching. Let us know what you thought of the racing at the finale down in the comments. And we'll look forward to hearing from you all. And until then, thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening, day, wherever you are in the world. And on that note, have a good evening. Ta-ra.
Bye.